Hello, Mr. Eru.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Mr. Eru. Good evening, Anthony Ezeribe.
Good evening, Mr. Eru. Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Ezeribe. He looks familiar.
All right.
Good evening, Honorable Bandy. Hello.
Good evening, Bandy. I think he needs to unmute himself so we can hear him.
Good evening, Bandy. Good evening. So,
good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening. You need to unmute your...
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Bandy. Okay.
So I was just trying to put my speaker on mute to start it so I don't disturb the background.
Okay, perfect. So once again, good evening, everybody. Our scheduled time today is 6 p.m. and we are here to discuss a very interesting topic regarding the 2023 presidential election. My co-host, Mr. Nnamdi Achonu, will be 5 minutes late. Contacted me, but yeah, as we wait for him, I can easily introduce everybody here today. I will start with Honorable Kenneth Gbandi. Kenneth Gbandi holds critical credentials in peace research and conflict mediation with focus on dialogue, conflict mitigation, integration of and diaspora demographic rights. He has served as Hamburg Senate Foreign Advisory Council as chairman of the Anti-Discrimination Committee for 3 years. He is the director of the German Federal Government Africa German Information Center for Social, Business and Recognition Migrant Certificates. He runs Heritage Media Network, one of the major African European media networks in Germany and German-speaking region in Europe. I can go on and read about Kenneth Gbandi. Honestly, if I keep reading, we can spend 30 minutes here because he has achieved almost everything and still achieving. He has been convicted with awards after award for his leadership and diaspora engagement. He holds the Ambassador of Peace in Ghana, Nigerian Diaspora, Man of the Year 2019 for most impactful leadership engagement, Leadership Achievement Award 2009 from the Nigerian community in Germany. And just to cut it short, Honor Kenneth Gbandi hails from Akuku, Igbo in Oshimi local government area in Delta State. He lives in Germany. And yeah, so let's welcome Honor Kenneth Gbandi.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a pleasure. I'm currently in Nigeria. I told your co-moderator that so that please you'll be tolerant with us because of network.
Okay.
We have issues with network, but I'm currently in Nigeria in Asaba.
Okay, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate your time. We also have here Dr. Tony Ezeribe, who is my very good friend from high school. He holds a physics PhD from the University of Sheffield, UK, which he obtained in 2017. He is currently a visiting scientist at the European Council for Nuclear Research, Switzerland, and the Fermi National Accelerator Laboratory, USA, where he studies the origin and physical content of our dear universe. Dr. Tony Ezeribe is a senior lecturer at the Nnamdi University, Oka, and a senior research scientist at the University of Sheffield. He is from Anambra State. Forgive me for not for forgetting the actual state in Anambra, which I'm supposed to remember. So Dr. Tony Ezeribe, welcome once again.
Thanks very much, Obi, for the introduction, and welcome to everyone that's connected.
And finally, I want to introduce also my very good friend back in Futo. We've been friends for ages. Mr. Eru Benjamin, an airship research engineer in the industrial and academic world with a focus on energy transition, lightweighting, metallic waste valorization, and steel processes. Academic background, graduated from Futo, petroleum engineering, and currently in University of Leuven. He also studied at the Catholic University in Belgium. And yeah, he also studied at Apple University in South Korea. His hobbies include traveling, reading, and Krav Maga. Thank you once again, Mr. Eru, for joining.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And myself, my name is Obinwanne Alisigwe. I live here in Düsseldorf. I work as a quality engineer with Blue Planet Group. And yeah, it's just a little introduction of myself. I wouldn't want to go far. And I currently hold I'm the chairman of the community here in Germany. I'm also the present vice provost of Nigerian community in Kiel. So just to cut things short, we can easily dive into our topic today. And yeah, once again, welcome everybody. So just to get things started, I will quickly direct this question to Bandy. Yeah, Bandy, are you there? Hello.
I'm there.
Okay. Just a quick question to you. Is zoning a major factor for the presidential ticket in Nigeria?
Yes, I think it is. In as much as most of us who have lived in advanced country would have, thought is probably undemocratic to do that. But they say every politics is local. So considering the considering the situation in Nigeria, where we have some major ethnic groups that has been dominating politics either at the federal, state or local level, it makes only sense that for the sake of equity and fairness, that a kind of a semi-arrangement of zoning is put in place. But eventually, most of the things I think that most of the young Democrats coming up is going to be to work for a perfect union, where we have to eliminate the zoning system and where people are, contest for the sake of, being, quality, being credible to be able to deliver the issue. So then it becomes a situation where the best can go for whatever they want to without zoning that. But considering the skewness of the Nigerian arrangement for now, it might be necessary. Take a very good example, like in the National Assembly, a situation where the major ethnic groups do not precisely have a dominance on the National Assembly or the National Assembly, and you see that you need the North can practically, if I'm not mistaken, pass a whole law without even taking other section into consideration. That is unacceptable arrangement, which we need to work very hard to change. So you can see that until that change is put in place, there should be a need where we maintain a kind of equity in terms of political appointments, so to say, or political distribution. But like I said, generally, I don't think it's the best of democracy. But considering the situation in Nigeria for now, I think it's something we need to address to work to eliminate that. But for now, I think it's necessary.
Okay, now do you think, due to the necessity of the zoning, that the South-South or Southeast has more chances to produce the next president?
Well, it's not a question of whether we have the chance. Based on what we've just said, on the equity, the sake of equity and the rest of them, it's important that the next president is going to come from the South. It makes sense. Take all things into consideration. It can only make sense that for the sake of fairness of equity, that is done. Yeah, like I said, not repeating myself like a broken record, based on the exigencies of the time we have, and the doctrine of necessity, and we think it's necessary and fair that the South, the next president comes from the South.
Thank you so much. I will switch this question to Mr. Eru. Do you think the Southeast, Southwest has the right candidate so far to pilot the affairs of Nigeria come 2023? Based on people that has declared their interest. I can list them if you want me to do that.
You don't have to do that. Basically, I will say, for now, we don't have frontline candidates for now. Because basically, if you notice from 99 till date, there will always be imposters, there will always be pretenders. But at the end of the day, there will be a consensus behind the scene. Then you'll have like 2 or 3 candidates who will slug it out among themselves, and also the godfathers again. It's the primaries that decide who is going to be the candidate. And who they pick will go to the election and stand for their party. So basically, I would say for now, there's no candidates for now.
So what you are trying to say, for now, the Southeast has not really, are not really prepared for now to pilot the affairs. Okay,
yes.
Then one more question, yeah? From my understanding, Omahi and Ojo Zokalo, who are also from the Southeast, has declared their interest come 2023 election. What's your take on that?
Let me take a mind back to the issue of 2007. Before Yar'Adua came up, the most prepared candidate was Peter Odili of River State.
Okay.
The initial idea then was that power must move to the north, but OBJ wanted to sabotage. So he was solidly behind Peter Odili. Odili campaigned in every single state in Nigeria. Virtually everywhere he went away until he went to Eagle Square. Governor's Forum shut him down. That was the beginning of Jonathan's problem. But we are saying like the issue of 2015 is Buhari. It's not Buhari. The polling started with how did Yar'Adua emerge? That was where the polling started from 2007, not 2015. That's why Jonathan served only 1 term and they kicked him out. So this idea of candidacy and processes, we have to be very, very careful. Umahi, Kalu, they are just pretenders. They are just
even Omahi, who was from,
he's a pretender.
From PDP to APC.
He's a pretender. Remember what OBJ said in the last interview. If he mentioned the candidates, they will take him out. That will tell you the kind of stick for Buhari to say that he can't protect his own candidates. Jonathan made that same mistake. He was preparing, he was already grooming Peter Obi. That was candidate, Peter Obi and Ribadu. He was preparing both of them for 2019, and they already knew this was the game plan. So kill 2 stones, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It's as simple as that. So it all boils down to political strategy. For now, they will surely come out, beat their chest, but at the end of the day, the real men, they don't come out very early. And then, of course, they are still reaching out.
Okay. Dr. Ezeribe, recently it's been going around on social media, Twitter, people calling out Mr. Peter Obi to declare his interest. Some of the questions coming out on social media is, will Peter Obi presidential campaign be a social movement like NSAS if he declares?
Thanks very much for that question. I think Peter Obi is more credible than Ojo Zokalo, Omahi, and Tinubu that we've seen. I think the young people will accept Peter Obi in the place of any of these people. But there are some other things we need to think about. Whether it's going to be as massive as the NSAS protest, no one can actually say, because there are some factors that seem to play out in Nigerian election. Religion seemed to becloud our sense of judgment, when it's time to commit Nigerian leadership to the person that will lead us in the next 4 years, we seem to relax that tax to the hands of religion, tribe, and things like that. And you find out that when we start the years, when we start counting down the tenure, the heat will come back to us. Think of the current administration, when sentiments were used to either vote them into power or bring them into power. Those sentiments worked. And if you look at the major players in that process, you see that they are all facing the heat. So I think in this 2023 election, the best thing for Nigeria is to sit down. Every Nigerian citizen has to really analyze the candidates, whether it's P2B, whether it's anybody, and decide who we are going to commit the country in his hands in the next 4 years. It's very critical. We have to get this right. If we get it wrong, I promise you that in the next 8 years, people will be eating human beings on the road. We can't walk around, because the problem is the West is moving away from fossil fuel. They are building electric cars. No one is going to be buying crude oil. Okay, so the next president has a lot of work to do to industrialize Nigeria. So it's not like any other election. The person is going to be coming into an economy that is not going to depend on crude oil, whether you like it or not, because that's going to go away. Nobody's going to buy it. They are going to do whatever they like. They're going to drill the oil. The oil is going to sit there. No one is going to buy it. So it's a problem when the government cannot pay salaries. When the government cannot pay salaries, the government cannot, there will be no money in Abuja to share. Okay, that's what we are heading to. So states or anyone that is in the center has to develop ways of running the government, paying salaries, doing all the capital expenditures, and then industrialize the nation. So it's a critical point in Nigerian history. If we get it wrong, that country will crash. And there will be regional wars, there will be religious wars, there's going to be clash on the road, nobody can drive around, including people that went to vote and people that did not vote. So I think it's critical for everyone to make it a point of duty to commit to this election. It is our last chance to veer to the right direction. If we get it wrong, we're all going to crash. So coming back to P2B, I think P2B is a very good candidate. If he declares, I think he has shown, some, dogged potentialities in Anambra State where he led. And if you monitor his footsteps, you see that he has some things most politicians don't. But I'm not saying that P2B is the messiah. There are Nigerians who are talented, who can fix Nigeria. And I think the way I will go about it is to call on anyone who thinks that he can do it to declare. It doesn't matter whether you have the capacity in terms of funds, whether you are a leader in a political party. Declare your intentions. Tell Nigerians how you think is going to be done. I think Nigerian citizens will start buying into positive ideas and vote out incompetent leaders.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ezeribe. I will ask this question to Honorable Bandy regarding P2B. Do you have anything to add regarding this topic? That is to say, if P2B declares his intention to run for the president from 2023, do you think he stands a huge chance? Do you think his campaign will generate the same force the NSAS movement generated?
Well, let me start. I listened to the last two speakers. I will probably get to this part, especially the second speaker after me. Not because it's my party, which is the African Democratic Congress. Mogalu is a seasoned banker who is the former deputy CBN governor. He has worked for United Nations, coordinated, a multinational event that led to the rebuilding of nation. He championed the introduction of the BVN in Nigeria, which is one of the most success stories of the banking sector. So he is running as a candidate. And so I think, in fairness, without trying to be prejudiced because it's from my party, in fairness, such a candidate is very, very credible. Also in the league of Peter Obi and co. And so I think it will not be fair to write off Peter Obi or Moghalu to say that they are not a credible candidate. No, they are. Yes, I understand the underlying factors he analyzed, which is totally correct. That the godfathers and the money bags are actually, they play the same. But one thing I actually beg to disagree with my compatriots, that when we hold this notion that our fate is already sealed, then we are doomed. So I do not agree to hold that notion that the status quo, which has been in place now, it's not changeable. That is sacrosanct. It is no. I disagree with that. Otherwise, we can all pack our bags, go to bed, and sleep and wait until our death. The Germans, where I'm happy you belong, say that the hope die last. They say hope not sharp and blessed. That's what we say in Germany. You can't give up without trying. And so I think I disagree totally to believe that the godfathers are so powerful that they can continue to maintain our life and rule our life. And no, it is left for us, because when people ask me, for instance, what is the plan of Peter Obi, or what is the plan of Kenneth Gbandi, or what is the plan of Moghalu to change Nigeria, I said, no, I don't have any plan. My plan is your plan. What is your plan? What are you suggesting we do to make sure that we change the status quo? And that's why I want to address that question. Yes, I have a thinking. I have my own game plan, but my own game plan can only be effective if all of us collectively agree on a game plan, irrespective of political affiliation, to change it. So yes, and I would say that Peter Obi, to be cross-party discussion, Peter Obi is a candidate, a very credible candidate. The only problem I have, I just spoke with one professor from the United States on my way from Germany to Nigeria. And I'm saying that in all fairness, without political bias. He said that the issue he has with Peter Obi is that Peter Obi, like Mr. Eru also probably tactically also analyzed. The issue with someone like Peter Obi is that can he call the shots without taking pressure from the godfathers? And the question is that most people think that he doesn't have that stamina to take the pressure from the godfathers. He might buckle up at the end of the day, to sue the godfathers. Compared to Moghalu, Moghalu has been a man of intellect, which people know that probably he is more to take a personal opinion without, bowing down to the godfathers. And again, to also, add to what Mr. Eru also have said, in ADC, for instance, our target is youth, the brand new ones, where we want to de-emphasize the rule of money, but also to emphasize the rule of competence. And so if you look at some parties like AA, to be honest with you, or YPD, or the ADC, we play more emphasis on capability and capacity more than on money backs. And what we are trying to do come 2023 is to make sure that we, this party, irrespective of the core political party, gather together to have a strategy to kick out these money bags, because the young is the leader of tomorrow, or we continue to be the leader of tomorrow, will be a mirage if we do not remove money politics, money bags from playing politics. So yes, like I said, in summary, yes, Peter Obi is a candidate, is a credible one for that matter. Moghalu is a candidate, is a credible candidate for that matter. From my own perspective, they are all both from the southeast for that matter, and I think they are both qualified to rule this country. And all we need to do is to look within those two, or within those people that they've mentioned. My past speakers have mentioned, like Carlo Oji and the rest of them. We can say within those people who is more credible, or the most credible. That is probably going to be the debate we are going to take. But I basically think that, yeah, the South has credible candidates, given the political terrain to play a part in Nigerian politics, in central politics.
Okay, I have a follow-up question, but before then, let me introduce Mr. Nnamdi Achonu and Ms. Onyinye Ndubuisi. Nnamdi, can you hear me? Can you unmute Nnamdi Achonu? Hello, Nnamdi Achonu, can you unmute? Okay, perfect.
I can hear
you.
You clear, yes.
Okay.
I do apologize for my late coming due to, I was coming down from Hamburg and there was a lot of traffic, so I couldn't make it. It's better to be late than be late. You are welcome.
Okay, thank you. Let me quickly introduce Nnamdi Achonu. Normally, Nnamdi Achonu is the National Vice President of Nigerian Community in Germany. He is the founder of Indigenous Nigerians in Kiel. He's also the Assistant Treasurer Afro Germany Schleswig-Holstein and a senior member of the Foreigners Forum in Kiel. He's a principled and disciplined man. He's my good friend, and we've been piloting the affairs of Nigerian community in Kiel together. Welcome, Mr. Nnamdi Achonu.
Thank you, Mr. Obinwanne.
And I will also want to welcome Ms. Onyinye, Belinda Ndubuisi. Can you please unmute? Ms. Ndubuisi, okay, perfect.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for the invite. I'm excited to join this interactive session, especially to talk about our country as it relates to the upcoming 2023 election and how we can all contribute to it. And thanks for the invite once again, and I hope we come out with very impactful deliberations. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, just a brief introduction of Ndubuisi. He's a program analyst, gender and human rights in the United Nations Development Program. So once again, I want to welcome Mr. Achonu and Mr. Ndubuisi. So back to Honor Bandy, just a follow-up question. Based on what you just said regarding Mr. Moghalu, from my understanding, with the way you explain things about him, it seems that he has already declared his interest.
That's correct. That's correct, sir.
Okay, and I also understand that you are also a member of the ADC party. Why do you think? Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's correct, sir.
Yeah. Why do you think Kingsley Moghalu stands out? Even though I follow Kingsley Moghalu on Twitter, and everything he's been tweeting, everything that comes out from his mouth seems completely different from the things I've heard from the previous contestants or previous politicians. Why do you think Kingsley Moghalu stands out from the candidates that have declared their interest for the 2023 election?
Well, like I said, coming from Germany, where we have basically where credibility, professionalism is at stake, and having led the Nigerian diaspora 4 years in Germany, 4 years in Europe, and also coordinated the Nigerian worldwide Nigerian global diaspora as a coordinating chair, we have had a lot of interaction with the past president. I've hosted President Eru O in Germany. I've hosted President Jonathan in Germany. I've also co-hosted President Buhari and Osibanjo in Germany as the chairman of the Nigerian Diaspora Organization Europe. We can see a total deviation, from, in Germany, look at the Boris Johnson of UK. Look at his age and look at his credentials. Look at the French president. Look at his age and his credentials and the rest of them. Then look at people who are contesting. Bola Tinubu, one of the frontline candidates, just came back from London. In fact, most of the issues he is attending on rallies he is attending in Nigeria, he can't even afford to stand. He's staying on a wheelchair, on a chair to address a campaign. And you look at age-wise, experience-wise. Moghalu, like I said, is a former deputy central bank governor. Introduced the BVN, which is the pride of Africa as of today. You can transfer your money, not even in Germany. You transfer your money today, and within 3 seconds you have it. It's part of BVN, revolution and the rest of them. He has engineered beyond the United Nations to engineer the development of countries like Rwanda, where they have issues after the wars and the rest of them, and successfully at that also. So it is not surprising that somebody like that, have the credibility and the knowledge, understand what international economics is all about. Not individuals who probably play money politics. And that's why Nigeria is not progressing, in spite of all our endowments. That people are playing money politics. They just give you money, they award contracts, no economic policy behind the scene. So the message you correctly said, is coming from Mogalu, who understands the power of economics, who understands the power of analytics, knowing where we stand, where we're coming from, and who is coming with a track record of not only a financial expert, but also in international nation building. So when you compare his pedigree, his background, with kind of messages is coming out, which is very, very clear. It's obvious that his policies are quite astounding. Well, the challenge will be, will ADC and himself have the chance? And that's where, like I said at the beginning, it's left for us to work towards that as a Nigerian. Even if it's not a Mogalu, but it's another younger candidate, it's left for us, rather than to write the candidate off to say because of the fact that they will have money backs in PDP, APC, it doesn't have any chance. Then that would be a mistake we're making, and we're not going to get out from this problem. So whatever the candidate that eventually emerge from Nigeria, especially from the South and Southeast, we should be able to rally around such a credible candidate. We should be able to talk among ourselves to say, with all these candidates who have a better policy, and picking out any person who has a better policy, we should be able to rally around that individual to make sure that we elect that individual as the next president of the government. I don't know whether I answered your question, sir.
Yeah, completely. You answered my question. I also have a follow-up question, because whenever you speak, I will always pinpoint follow-up question. But that will be my next question for you. I will ask you probably after discussing with asking Nnamdi Achonu and Ms. Ndubuisi. So back to Mr. Nnamdi Achonu. We've been discussing about zoning for the 2023 presidential election. Do you think zoning will be a major factor for the presidential ticket? You muted your, can you please unmute? Yeah, perfect.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't think the issue of zoning is the problem of our politics in Nigeria. The presidency or the president of the country can come from any part of the country, but who have the interests of the whole nation at hand. Yes, it might bring an Igbo or Southeast president, and he failed woefully. Then everybody will blame you. People are looking for presidency. You people are looking for presidency, and now you have the presidency. What did you do? Check out the people that have ruled Nigeria. There's no road going to Ota. Cannot see a better road going to Ota. The same thing that cannot see a better road going to Uteke. Buhari himself, there's no safety in the state he comes from. Even in Douala, when he was in Douala last year, there was also a kidnapping issue going on that place. So the issue of zoning the presidency, it depends on the constitution of the land. If the constitution says zoning is the way, then let them follow the zoning. The most important thing for that country, that's restructuring.
I will come to that restructure. I will come to that because that has been PDP and that article message for the past 4 years. I'll go quickly to Ms. Ndubuisi. People have been clamoring for Mr. Peter Obi to declare his interest for the 2023 election. The question is, will his campaign, when he declared, will his campaign be a social movement just like the NSAS movement?
Is this question to me?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm going to take your attention totally out of this question in context because, First of all, in my role as a UN staff, I don't venture into the country's politics. Okay. But I might be able to speak as an individual. And this is how the preparedness of Nigerian citizens for the forthcoming elections, vis-a-vis acquiring the voters card. You know, how ready are we, even as we begin to discuss the candidates? You know, what's going to be, I'm thinking that the role why we have come together is to discuss how the Nigerians in diaspora can contribute to 2023 for us to have an efficient and effective election. And that's the reason why I think that we should also be looking at who are the key people. I mean, I haven't met Kenneth for the first time, but I've seen the things he posts on social media, and I know he has a lot of followers. and I know he controls some level of influence. And then that comes to me to ask some questions. How ready is the diaspora willing to support the next forthcoming elections? Number two is that what is the role of each of us, you and I, to ensure that everyone has a voter's card? Now, if you're going to align it, someone made mention of the NSAS kind of thing, which I know in my office I was reporting to. How have we contributed to making our youths to say, yes, of course, there are challenges we have in Nigeria. How do we move out of the complaint box to now a solution box? What are we bringing as diasporans, to Nigeria? And finally, I would also want to maybe answer some of the questions. Like, basically, I'm Nigerian. I might be German from the back, but I'm my first originality is that I'm Nigerian, and I'm very proud of my heritage. And that's why I'm back to Nigeria to see what I can contribute to Nigeria to ensure that, we have a sustainable livelihood. But to be sure that you and I, what roles have we done? I remember I lost my younger brother last year because he died because he wanted to contest for a senatorial position. What happened? One of the things he did, which I'm very proud of, is that when we got back to the village where they says charity starts from home, we discovered people did not have voting cards. People did not, and when you don't have a vote, you can't disenfranchise yourself. You don't also have the mouth to talk. Do you understand? So first of all, we need to own our voting cards to be able to vote. So what have we done in our communities to ensure that everyone has a right to vote? It's not enough to talk from abroad. It's not enough to post on the internet. What actions are backing what you're posting? And that's why I'm being very realistic in today's meeting. So what we did within the time we got there, we went to the market park where the buses are loaded from my village to Aba. We told all the buses, follow us. We made sure that for that 1 week, buses were convening populace of our community to the INEC office to go and register. Am I making sense here?
Yeah, of course.
And that enhanced voters registration. And I make bold to tell you, because I work directly with INEC, that a lot of people have not gone to pick up their voters card, and a lot of people have not registered. On January 4th, INEC has as well opened the portal for citizens registration, and people are not making venture to register. So we cannot continue to talk about the candidacy when there are nobody to vote people in, the right candidate in. So whether we want it or not, the right candidates will be there. Some other candidates will be there. I'm not here to say who is right or who is wrong. But with our voters card, my dear, we can ascertain who we want to bring in.
Okay, I want to ask you a follow-up question, just to inform you. Right now, there is this option on Twitter that's for space, where people discuss about politics almost every day. And one of the major information that have been so far spreading on Twitter, Eru can also testify to that, is the option for people to have voters card. This is like everyday program on Twitter. The importance of every individual to have voters card. And when I listen to some of the space interviews, what people are complaining is not about voters card. Most of the people on space, like 70% of them always come with a voters card to declare that, yes, I have my voters card, I'm registered. The problem, most of them have shown interest on, does their vote actually count? And this is the question I'm asking to you, Ndubuisi. The youths now are much more interested in politics than 2019.
Let me tell you, I led elections in UNDP Nigeria for Ekiti State, Osun State, and the last elections. I led election project. And for Ekiti State, people watched their vote. Did you see what happened in Anambra State this last election?
Yes.
We did not send the message to the voters themselves.
Yes.
Did you not see people who turned down and said funds were given to them and they were on the television? People turned it down.
Yeah.
So as much as, like you said, that the narrative has changed, the narrative has actually changed right now. People want a change. You and I and our family, they are craving for a change in governance. They are craving for a change everywhere. In all cadre of government, people are craving for a change. One of the things that I may want to push for is that being a woman, I would also want women to also engage in leadership positions.
I'll come
You
to
and
that.
I, if you're based in Germany, like Angela Merkel, this everybody knows me in Nigeria. Whenever I get up the microphone to speak, they know I'm pushing for the women agenda.
Exactly.
I'm not pushing that women should take over from men, but I'm pushing that women can complement the work of men. And let me reiterate it again, that women has to complement the work of men for governance in Nigeria to effectively be sustainable. We come from a country, or you're chatting from a country where Angela Merkel just handed over to a guy, having led Germany for a long time. We can find out from the economic policies of Germany and from the security, from the diplomatic missions and policies, that things really went well. Do you understand? And this has nothing to do with whether we have credible women. We have credible women in Nigeria. We have women who can deliver. There are lots of them. As we sit right now, Obi Ezekwesili is leading the transition team for Soludo in Anambra State, putting people through on what they need to do. So this is an area I want us to begin to galvanize discussion and trigger discussions about things like voter education, things like participatory governance, things like vote buying, things like, corruption while voting is going on, things like people selling their conscience and you're eating that money that will only do you for 1 hour, 1 second, and then you come out and complain that they are not nothing. Do you understand me? So it becomes a worrisome situation if 6 of us here can actually say in our communities, we're bringing in buses for people to go and register, or even task people within our community, because some of us belong to communities where we have platforms for development or vigilante. We all contribute maybe 10,000. What is 10,000 from there to INEC boss? And then INEC will tell us when they will go and pick up their voters card. We'll move them again. Have we not done enough?
That's right.
Have we not? So we're thinking about the bigger thing and leaving the little thing that can actually give the taste of the food. You cook 50 bags of rice, you don't add Maggi cubes, you've made a silly mistake. So these are things that build up our election that people are not looking at. And rather than concentrating on the candidacy, concentrate on people's voting right, that disenfranchises them for another 5 years, 4 or 5 years. So this is my own input, and this is where I see our voters card is our weapon of change, whether we want it or not. And the more massive awareness or campaign we push out there with that voters card message, the more you see the candidates contesting begin to shiver. Anambra State was a game changer. Was a game changer. People respected people's views and votes, and we believe it's going to be that if we can mobilize our communities. Over and thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ndubuisi. I have more questions to ask you, but because we have other people here, I will direct a question first to Mr. Eru. The question I have for you is coming from what Mr. Ndubuisi was talking about regarding voting options and voters card. Do you think it's high time Nigeria start considering diasporas, even the diasporas, the options to vote? Because we have Nigerian, I don't think there's any country that has much more international people than Nigeria, much more diasporas than Nigeria. Nigerian diaspora contribute a lot in the economy of Nigeria. Do you think it's high time we start speaking, we start talking about giving the diasporas option to vote?
Thanks for your question, but before I answer your question, I will throw some light on the last two speakers. First, Honorable Bandy talked about the possibility of Peter Obi buckling under pressure from the party. At least everybody was in Nigeria. We know the difference between the era of Shiwoke Mbadinuju in Anambra, Igige, and Peter Obi. The difference is clear. That's one of the reasons, like in my own circle, we're having discussion, and I tell my friends, because I have friends in APC, PDP, all over. I said, the money men will hardly allow Osibanjo in APC or Peter Obi in PDP to be their frontline candidate, because they are dark horses. You don't know what they have in their mind. When Osibanjo was the party president, we saw what he did in Nigeria. So for him to pick that ticket, everybody remembers what he did as party president. Peter Obi, everybody knows what he did to the Uba clan in Anambra. So the party basically don't trust them. That's to be difficult for them to fly the flag of their party. And also, secondly, the last speaker talked about the issue of women. Number one, the vote in Nigeria basically comes from the north, whether we like it's the KKK states, Kaduna, Katsina, Kano. They pull more than 20% of Nigerian votes. and we know their attitude towards women. So for you to give them the ticket, that's why an Angela Merkel, for that kind of person to happen in Nigeria in the next 20 to 30 years, to be possible. And also the issue of giving women more participation. We need to understand something. There's a difference between political technocrats, political operator, and a politician. That's one mistake we are making in Nigeria. For example, person like Obama. Obama is an operator. He has been in the game since he was a student in Chicago. He grew through the ranks to the top. I live in Austria. Sebastian Kurz, the last chancellor. He was a student in the University of Vienna. He was a law student. He grew through the ranks to become the party chairman in Vienna, to be foreign secretary, the Iran-US peace deal. He brokered the deal. He was just 29 years. He was the foreign minister of Austria at 29. So you can imagine, he was still in university. He was in university as a student, already foreign minister. He had to even drop out of the university to focus on politics. So that's the problem we have in Nigeria. There's a break in the intellectual class from the university to the political scene. In Austria, I belong to, like the party I belong to, they have their own student wing in the university. So the politics from the campus to the federal level, there's a direct link. And we already know what happened in Nigeria. Those who should be playing youth politics in the campus, then to the federal level, they are the ones that are snatching ballot buses. They're the one of our professors already. We know what happened with rigging. They are the ones actively organizing rigging for the politicians. So there's a disconnect. So for that to happen, it's not just giving the women slots. Theresa May and Merkel did not get the party ticket from the kitchen or from the bedroom. They were actively in the process. They took part and they rose from basic level to MP, and then they got the ticket at the top. The women have to come out. It's not just, let's give them a slot. No, it doesn't work that way.
I'm sorry, I might have to cut you, Speaker. I'm really, really sorry. I'm not a novice in Nigerian politics. I work in an organization which I know that I anchor on women. So let me tell you, in the year 2018 to 2019, UNDP supported a bill which is called Women Participation in Election Support Bill, which according to the Nigerian Constitution demands a third of women, how do I put it, 30% of whatever party have to flow to be women. And this came up because women who are party members, let me repeat myself again, they did not just come out from the air and they did not just show up at the time of election. They have been party members. They've been paying their dues. They paid everything all the guys in the party did. But now you're not looking at it from the patriarchy point of view. You're looking at it from the intellectual and technical point of view. But I'm here to also tell you that I'm like I told the speaker when the facilitator when I was speaking, and I said, men should not see women as competitors. And let me repeat myself. We want to be complementing. What am I saying? I'm saying that there are women who have, from becoming members, have grew through the ranks and have also contested for primaries who were beaten up. Listen to my word, beaten up because of, we haven't gotten to the point of election violence. We're only looking at successful election. Maybe if there are going to be subsequent discussions around this, we might begin to look at election violence. But to say that women don't just come from the blues, no, that's a wrong submission in a meeting like this. Women have grew to be members of the party. They've paid their dues, they bought their tickets, and they are actually willing to contest and compete with other fellows, but not at the party level to make excuses for women not to run. I did not say Angela Merkel did not go through the parties. No, all I'm saying is to be given that opportunity. All I'm saying is to take away patriarchy and that sense of reasoning that women cannot act like women should not even come out, because from the home grounds, women are seen as better managers. And that's why we are mothers. So I'm not going to take you to that nitty-gritty of what women do, but I'm just trying to debunk your submission that women are not part of party and they come from the blues. No, they are all party members. And these are, you can also, INEC data is not hidden. INEC data is online. Everything I speak to you with facts and not hearsay. So there was a forensic data done, but forensic and analytics done, that an audit done in INEC by EKES. If you go online, you will see it. If you look at online women that have run for elections and the number of people that have won vis-a-vis the number of people that have not won, it's clear. Lesser women are there, more men are there. But look at the election violence component of women that lost, not because they're not worthy or they did not go through the ranks or they came out from the blues, no, but because there were things around patriarchy, there were things around funding. So if you're going to look at influence that has stopped women from getting to the top, there are lots of things to contend with, and not that they did not grow through the ranks. I would not buy that one in a meeting like this. No.
Okay, Mr. Ndubuisi, I will give Eru 2 minutes to answer the question before I go to the next speaker, because we have a lot of things to discuss.
Yeah, thank you. Let me push back on that point. Senator Grace Benz of Adamawa State. You know that lady? She's not from Adamawa. Her husband is from Adamawa, but she ran for election in Adamawa and she won. She's not from Adamawa State, in the north. She won. The last election, in my own senatorial district, a lady defeated the national political advisor of the national chairman of PDP, Senator Amori, in Delta Central. She won the ticket from 7 men. She won in Delta State, the heart of PDP. She contested against Senator Obinwanne, the current Senate Deputy President, until 11 p.m. in the night. She was leading. So that idea of patriarchy, no, it's not patriarchy. In my own district in Delta State, a woman almost defeated Obinwanne until the last 2 bags were counted. That was when the vote won. Delta North, the Honorable Bandy will know Miriam Ali, the wife of Colonel Amado Ali, for a national chairman of PDP. She ran for the Senate in Delta North. So,
let me quickly direct you. I believe as an African man, if I marry somebody from Ogun State,
yep,
automatically I'm from Imo State. If I marry somebody from Ogun State, if she decides to run for any political party, she has to run under my state because she's my wife.
No, it depends. Let me give you an example. The case of Peter Odile, Mary Odile at the Supreme Court. She went to the appeal court on the basis of coming from Imo State. When she wanted to go to the Supreme Court, she went there. She was married to a man from Nigeria Delta. That's how she rose to the Supreme Court.
We are actually
that's what I'm saying
about women.
It's flexible.
Contesting. As an African man, it doesn't sit well that my wife comes from Ogun State and she decides to run for governor tomorrow. She will go to Ogun State to run for governor. It doesn't work that way. This is my understanding.
No, I'm saying it depends on the rule. It's flexible. Until date, she is the only person that I know.
Okay, let me also jump in to say that the electoral acts. I'm putting everything on the table with facts and figures. The electoral act supports. If you can contest in your husband's home, you can contest from your home. And let's not take it away that's what when I say patriarchy, he's also helping me to support the work of patriarchy again. So you're taking it away that a woman cannot contest in her husband's house. Then what else is patriarchy? Patriarchy is a blanket word. And that's what she just described now, that she won in her husband's home, but you don't want to accept that it's patriarchy. This is highly interactive. So I want you to remove the cobwebs around your thoughts right now.
Okay, sorry.
Before you go off, she's not getting the point. I said Nigerian election is decided by 3 states, KKK, Kaduna, Katsina, Kano. But a lady won an election in Adamawa in the north. She is not from the north. To the Senate, and you know what it means to be a senator in Nigeria, a woman in the north.
Okay, Eru, sorry,
yep.
I'll have to cut you guys short a bit now. Let me go to Dr. Ezeribe. Still on this woman joining the politics, which was supposed to be our next discussion, but because of Mr. Ndubuisi brought it up, I want to quickly remind you that there is one 38-year-old Khadija Lamidi, who from Lagos State. Her dad is a senior advocate of Nigeria. She has a degree in business administration in the United Arab Emirates. She is also a strategic project manager. She just declared her interest, 38 years old, very young, vibrant. What do you think is her chances? Do you think she's actually one of the political pretenders, or it's high time we start considering the fact that women can actually pilot the affairs of the country, just like in other European countries.
Yeah, so yes, Khadija declared interest, but she has not said under which party. I think it's high time we start, as in when I say we, I mean all Nigerians, Nigerian citizens, start listening to every candidate. And we should, at this point, stop paying so much attention to the front line, the notorious political parties, the PDP, APC, and so on. I think we need to bench these frontline parties. When I mean frontline, I mean PDP and APC. I sincerely believe that PDP and APC do not deserve to win the 2023 election. My reasons are, number one, that since 1960, if you like, it has been some elements of PDP and APC that has been ruling us, right? It has been, PDP, is a kind of a metamorphosed SDP, So there has been that growth from the old parties, okay? So I think we've tried these people, we've tried their policies, it has not worked. So why not, look elsewhere? So if Khadija has a good plan for Nigeria, I sincerely believe that Nigerians should consider and vote her in. What we need is a competent leader who will come in, industrialize Nigeria, save us from the, oncoming doom. It shouldn't be a political thing at this point. It should be a movement to save Nigeria. So if Khadija is the right candidate, I've read, her plan. I've read some of her plans, which are theoretical mainly. What I want to see candidates telling us is that Nigeria has lacked electricity since inception, that this is the plans that the candidate A has to change that within 4 years, okay? That people graduate from universities, they don't have jobs. I want candidates to tell Nigerians how they will create jobs. There should be a blueprint, okay, that should guarantee job creation, for the first 4 years that the person is in power. So this is the kind of things we need to listen to. We don't need to start listening to political analysis. We don't need to start listening to what people have done. We really need plans. We really need how, okay? Because when you have plans, you have to tell us how you are going to make the money to do all those things. So we need those things. We need to discuss those things. You have a candidate, tell us what we are going to do. It shouldn't be clouded by some zoning formula. It shouldn't be clouded by some religious sentiment. It shouldn't be clouded by anything. I think Nigerians should start learning to be Nigerians first before any regional sentiment or any religious sentiment. We should save Nigeria because Nigeria is collapsing. We should just save it. So in conclusion, I think Khadija is a viable candidate, but she has a lot of work to do. She has to tell us what her plans are and where she plans to achieve them. But before due to how busy this session is, let me put in that before I drop, let me put in that this election should define where Nigeria is going to head in the next 10 years, if you like, because whosoever that wins will determine who will take over, after that tenure. So it's really important that we get these things sorted out. I learned that Yaya Bello declared, and all that. These guys should stop deceiving Nigerians, okay? But if they are declaring, they should be ready to answer questions, okay? The critical thing is give us power, build our roads, and there has to be plans. In the past, they've said they're going to do it, and at the end, they end up not doing it. So we need plans. How do you do it? Okay, give us timeline. And anybody who is prepared to rule Nigeria that is not ready to do that free of charge without salary should sit down. Okay, so I would think that at this point, what we need is a committed fellow who has plans on how to solve our problem. No politics attached. There has to be some elements of politics. But when I mean no politics, I mean sincere commitment to saving our motherland, Nigeria. So the person should be able to save Nigeria without asking for salary. So corruption shouldn't be an issue. So if we ask any of these candidates, are you able to save Nigeria without salary, and the person is not committed, he should sit down. So I think Nigerians should start asking those questions, and the candidates should, make themselves available for citizens to ask questions. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ezeribe. I have a question for Honorable Bandy. Now, Bandy, I understand that in November 16, 2020, he was appointed the Deputy National Chairman, Diaspora Engagement of the African Democratic Party, ADC, which is currently the third largest political party in Nigeria in terms of national spread. My question to you is, regarding your position as the Deputy National Chairman of the Diaspora Engagement, does your party have any plan of giving the diasporas options to vote, like I explained before, that Nigerians in diaspora has contributed a lot in the economic growth of Nigeria. And it's quite unfair that during every important election in Nigeria, the diasporas are not given the chance to vote. Is this something your party is working on? Because as the vice chairman, I think this should be some of the topics you people are discussing. Is it something you guys are working on? And if yes, why? How do you intend to make it happen?
Thank you very much, Moderator. I've listened to the previous speaker, especially the very, very lively exchange between our lady, Ndubuisi, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it's a very interesting debate. And I like the spirit of that's what democracy is all about.
Yes, yes.
I have my perspective to all of them, but because of time, we cannot be able to address that. But I think I agree with her to some extent, but I also agree to the guy who actually put up a very strong defense about the role of women. So it's like I said, it's a very lively exchange. But let me focus on the question you asked. As the chairman of Nigerian Diaspora Organization Europe, I basically, as the chairman with my executive, we fought for the establishment of Nigerian Diaspora Commission. I led the delegation with Saraki that eventually gave birth to the Nigerian Diaspora Commission. I also initiated, I've had a couple of meetings and the presentation on the green chamber and the red chamber to discuss about diaspora voting. And we are still working on that. Currently, the diaspora voting has gone past through the first reading and going on the second reading. And hopefully, we believe that it's going to pass. Now, I'm no longer the chairman of Nigerian Diaspora Organization, so I don't have the leverage to speak on what the situation now is. But on the question you asked to my party, again, with the reference to the very solid debate by my sister Ndubuisi, when she made a case about the women. In ADC, we have 35% allocated to women and 35% allocated to youth. Totally 75% for both youth and ladies or women in our party. And that's how we take the participation of women and youth serious. But again, I also agree with the last speaker that having this slot does not mean that automatically you should go ahead and start looking for women to fill the slots. They also need to bring themselves forward in the party. As we speak now, we have a lot of these slots open for women. It's still not filled up. And so we encourage our women folk to come up and fill those slots. Now, on the diaspora voting, like I said, we basically as diaspora pushed so long to have our diaspora voting right, which has passed the first reading. I hope and I pray it happens. But on ADC level, I've mentioned that we have 35% slot for women, 35% slot for the youth, totally 75%. And we are only party in the whole of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that have a diaspora deputy national chairman. It never happened in the history of Nigeria. It's because of the value the ADC attached to diaspora that we established the first office of the deputy national chairman as diaspora engagement, which unfortunately to hold that position. So because we believe that diaspora, having remitted over 32 billion in 2017-2018, keeping the country from bankruptcy, deserve the right to say who rules them. So we're totally in support of that. And that is why, as the only political party in Nigeria that have a diaspora deputy national chairman, where the diaspora have every right in every organ of the party, from the ward level to the national level, to contribute in the policy formulation. We have also said that every diasporan who is a member of ADC can participate in direct election of the primaries, which means if we're going to have a primaries tomorrow, every member of diaspora that is registered ADC member can vote and choose who their representative is. So why we cannot change the issue of the INEC or the policy of INEC and the Federal Republic of Nigeria about diaspora voting? The party have a rule to set up their own rules, and by ADC, the diasporan can vote in every election from ward to local government to state level. So that's what I can say on diaspora voting. I absolutely 100% agree with you. We are the only political party that are making a very, very concrete effort to make sure that the votes of diaspora are counted. I started that job when I was the chairman of Nigerian Diaspora, and I will continue to fight for that even as the national deputy chairman ADC. I will support every initiative both in the party and inter-party level where we can come together to push that. As a matter of fact, I've been making initiative to summon a party of all political parties in diaspora, whether it's ADC, PDP, to say that we are in diaspora, we'll see how things are done as best international practice. The diaspora voting is a topic that does not have to deal with only one party alone, but all Nigerians in diaspora and all political parties. So I hope that as we go on, that all my colleagues in the diaspora will come together and we agree to put a maximum pressure on our political parties in Nigeria to take diaspora voting as a priority. Over to you, sir.
Just a follow-up question to you, Honorable Bandy. How do you think the diaspora voting will impact if, for example, the federal government decide to give diaspora the options to vote? How do you think it will impact the 2023 election?
Well, the fear of every politician is the possibility of losing an election. And diaspora, to be honest with you, I know that most of them in diaspora will kill me. Mr. Achonu will also will testify. Apart from being a member of NIDO, I conducted the Nigerian community election twice as the electoral officer. That led to even the executive where he was elected in Berlin. And so I'm trying to say that most of the diaspora, unfortunately, are not much better than most of the people in Nigeria. Unfortunately, I'm not saying about some of them. They still behave like people in Nigeria, unfortunately. So the fact is that most diaspora are supposed to be seen as independent-minded people who can vote their conscience without getting pressure from money bags. And that's the fear of most politicians in Nigeria. They are afraid that diasporans are independent-minded people and that they might change the vote. I mean, we have about plus or minus about 20 million Nigerians in diaspora.
That's right.
Maybe that number is more because of we have a gap in statistics. You can imagine that the presidential election was won with the presidential winner, the winner of the Nigerian presidential election was about 27 million only, if my statistics is correct. And you have 20 million Nigerians in diaspora. You can imagine if 30% or 40% of that population cast their vote to one particular president. They are going to, just like the big brothers in Nigeria, where the youth are voting for their big brothers with 174 million to elect a big brothers, while the presidential election is only 24 million or so. It doesn't make any sense. So the diaspora coming on board is a game changer, and they know that. As a matter of fact, I'm no longer in NIDO, so I can speak freely. When I was interacting with the chairperson on diaspora decks from both the red and the green chambers, they told me, Mr. Gbandi, the politicians will not pass diaspora voting because they are scared of people coming to push them out. That we don't want to take food away from their mouth and we think they were going to support us. And that's the truth of the matter. So These things are not offered on a platter of gold. That's why we need a very strong advocacy. And we think our sister from the UN will play a very big role in that. We need advocacy. And she mentioned that, yes, we are doing our best because the markets, you don't know, we still trade. Most of us have actually been working. What we need to do is to, network, which is the power of creativity. We network together, see how we can leverage another organization that be pushing for diaspora voting. And at the end of the day, I think we'll hopefully arrange, come to a final successful conclusion. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Just to divert a little bit from this diaspora voting, and so I will go to restructuring. In 2015, APC campaigned mainly with restructuring. They promised Nigeria restructuring. And now we are in 2022, there is still no restructuring. As of yesterday, it was a major topic on Channel TV. I'm directing this question to Mr. Nnamdi Achonu. PDP has always, Atiku, for example, has always championed the impact of restructuring. Do you think any candidate will have more chance to become if he or she is truly championing restructuring in Nigeria?
During time of campaign, after election, there's no more campaign. The country where all of us came from, it's a country where somebody will come outside and say something and go inside and do another thing. It was the same campaign Buhari regime did, that they are going to do restructuring, they are going to give lights, they are going to construct roads on top of the air. And all of a sudden, they are government of blaming. As I am now, I'm not a member of any party. I'm a member of a true federalism government. But I wonder why our leaders are afraid of restructuring. The country where we are living now in Germany is a federation country. Every state, even every local government has their own power to do something. Every local government have their own companies. Like where I'm living, even the electricity we are using is the local government have it, not even the states. Because of this restructuring, the people in the federal house, Green Chamber and the Red Chamber, they are afraid, like what Mr. Bandy said. If they make that politics, if they make that Senate seat and the House of Representatives less fund, make it free, people will not contest for Senate, neither to contest for House of Rep, because they will not gain anything from that place. Everybody will run down to the local government. Why are they afraid of restructuring? Restructuring is the best thing that will happen to Nigeria through federalism. Let everybody face and bring out its own mineral resources. Some of the governors, I'm sorry to say it, in Nigeria are lazy. They cannot make up something from their state. For example, the Niger Deltas, so-called Niger Deltas, everybody's eyes in that oil. In normal circumstances, oil block don't supposed to be an individual something. If they are going to share oil block, they share it by state. In Zamfara state, they have gold. Why is it gold of Zamfara is for Zamfara and the oil in the Niger Delta is for Nigeria? That is one of the things they are afraid of, restructuring. Restructuring was damaged by people in uniform. You can understand the constitution we are using now is a transplanted decree that went into constitution. So if we, the generation of this country now, this generation will come out boldly. The mentality of some of us here in diaspora is different from those ones. I say some of us, like what Mr. Gbandi said, there are some of us in the diaspora that are even more primitive than people that are in Nigeria. When you discuss with them, you know how they reason. They will not go straight forward. I will tell you one of these things. I am somebody I'm going to vote as a Fulani man who is going to bring a unity Nigeria together. And it's something I'm going to vote for a Yoruba man. Before Buhari entered, Up to today, I still have the call from my friends who said, you are the key point that we voted Buhari. I said, yes. Buhari leadership have showed us that human beings cannot be trusted. Like I told you before when we had been conventional, if chance being given to me about Buhari, I will give, after Buhari goes, I will give him a red carpet to Douala. But the presidency should take a journey with me. All those presidencies, they took the advantage of this man and the old and the age and the way his reasons to handle Nigeria the way they are. Assuming we restructure this country and somebody in the federal point have nothing to do with somebody in Aba, have nothing to do with somebody in Kafanchan. There's no need of him staying in that place. He will run down home. And secondly, we go to the grassroots politics. The restructuring will make us to go to grassroots politics. The restructuring will make us to have state police. The restructuring will make us to have state security. A police that is being born and bred in my village, we know everybody that is in that village. I don't know who is foreigner. That's another way to fight the security. That is the restructuring. The restructuring will bring us people's access from the village. Everybody knows who is who. But I wonder why our country is afraid of restructuring. Because of corruption. It cannot play politics with policy. That is where they are making that mistake. All those promises they are doing in this election, these promises, I will do that, I will do this, all of them are fanatics. They are just making it to convince some people that don't have brain to vote. Somebody will come out openly and die and fight for somebody that don't care about him. So for my point now, let us focus for a person, even PDP, APC, they are not even the party because PDP and APC are the same. They have made the party in a way that it's not a childish thing. Somebody jumped from PDP to APC and jumped from APC to PDP. When you cannot get this ticket from that place, you jump to the other side. My brother is very, very childish. If the INEC or people in charge of this, we make it, if you decamp, like David Umua or Maya or others, if you decamp from a party that elected you as governor, you have to relinquish that post you are sitting. If the law, if they put that law, you see they will stop jumping like frog from one party to another. If you are elected as a senator, as APC or an ADC, and you decamp from that one, you relinquish your post, you leave that post for that party that won it. That word restructuring is a very big word to Nigerian politicians, and they don't need it. I rest my case for now.
Thank you, Mr. Achonu. I have a question for Ms. Ndubuisi, but before then, I want to tell Mr. Nnamdi that in case if you have any question you want to direct to any of our speakers, you can just quickly write me that you have a question, then I will give you the floor to ask your question. Okay? So now going to my question for Ms. Ndubuisi. Often at times we point fingers on the presidents, the governors, and so is it time to start holding our lawmakers accountable? Because think about it. APC campaign for restructuring and also PDP is campaigning for restructuring. If a ruling party, a president or a governor campaign for a particular promise to do a particular thing and they couldn't achieve it, is it time for our lawmakers to start holding them responsible? And why is our lawmakers not doing the right job? Because I think, in my opinion, I think the president and the governors, the governors, for example, they are very lazy because we don't have lawmakers who are actually serving them. Is it time for our lawmakers to start? Is it time for us to start holding our lawmakers from our local government, people who voted to House of Rep, to Senate? Is it time for us to start holding them accountable? Because there's a video that went viral 2 weeks ago of one House of Assemblyman from Imo State. He came to the village, he was addressing, he wanted to declare his interest for the next election, and the youth stood up against him. Is it time for us to start using this same device to hold our lawmakers accountable? Because every finger has been pointing to the president, to the governors, but our lawmakers, people who actually voted from the grassroots, are not doing the right job. Is it time for us to start holding them accountable, and how do we do that?
Thank you very much, my dear brother. We have the right to hold the parliamentarians accountable at every point in time. You know, as much as I saw the video that trended on the social media, and I want to salute that young man who stood up to ask questions amidst the whole battering to shut him up. He drove his point to the parliamentarian who heard him. You recall that in that video, he had actually referenced that the guy came and he asked the guy question then, and the guy came back again, and the guy, he asked, and the guy said, it's for us. Now, so like I tell you, I moved back, I was transferred I moved from Germany back to Nigeria to also continue my work, and I don't know where my next place of assignment is. And one of the things I've not allowed to happen in Nigeria, as much as I'm Nigerian, is to think like the average Nigerian. Let me tell you that our parliamentarians owns us each question we have to ask, even concerning the last drop of allocation in the constituency projects. But now, like I said, do the citizens want to know what the constituency project is all about? And this is the only point I want to thank my friend who is based in Austria, who had, you know, another submission in line with what I was talking about when he talked about the students chapter. And then it's also at that level that, at the student level, that people should churn out publications relating to constituency project. And let me tell you, my dear brother, the constituency project, the manuscript is there in the National Assembly. It's not a hidden document. To an extent, every information we want is out there. But who is willing to go and challenge? How many people have that guts to ask questions? Even in a social media world that we are today, that social media is triggering lots of positive change and also negative change. They both go hand in hand. So I will not even, but let me tell you, as much as we have a president who is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, how do other executives work and deliver their everyday, you know, expected outcome on their duty posts? We leave the National Assembly or the House of Rep or even the states to do what they want because nobody's asking them questions. Right. Or people are scared to die. I don't blame them. People are scared to die. To an extent, I don't blame them. But there are other people that have also, you know, kind of hid their face behind a foreign name, behind something difficult, and then they keep pushing an agenda on social media. And once 10, 20 people share it, it goes viral. People try to seek the next, you know, positive change. So they owe it to us. They owe us an explanation. They owe us to give us account of what they've done since they've been there. And if there's no time to challenge them, it is now, because very soon you'll see some of them, you know, coming back to give bags of rice, give yams, you know, that people can eat just for 5 days. Come back and they pay for 10 people's school fees or 10 people's WAEC, and people are clapping for them. But we'll be tied them, and we'll be tied all of us as Nigerians, because our work is to speak. I'm a bit handicapped coming from an activism base and now working for the UN. There are certain things I can't push for. But peradventure, in my own interventions that are concretely under me, I work a lot with the National Assembly. And I want to tell you that the information is out there for people to come and see which contracts have been awarded. There are information there that says this constituency project is ongoing. Do you understand me? But yeah. Nobody is there to begin to kind of break it down. And again, Formally before now, before the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, before the Northeast issue, security challenges we have in the country, the banditry, the Boko Haram, the IPOP issue that has come up in the East, and so many other things that has begun to emanate, which has become a serious security challenge to the government. The donors used to support things like, different pipeline of interventions. But now the donors are also now interfacing with organizations to ensure that things around security issues are brought, to a still where we can find a bit of peace in Nigeria, where things like other issues like police reform that triggered the NSAS is a big discussion right now and is going on. And you see big donors are contributing towards that. The COVID came up and there's a basket fund from all donors to tackle COVID. And these are areas that have taken the funds that were meant to address, things that were meant to provide more information. But also, there are organizations that are still churning it out, even on Twitter, even on Facebook. But what are we using this information to do? Nothing. Most of these young people that are related to us are finding their way to be SAs and PAs. You see people having 30 PAs and 30 SAs doing nothing just for the branding. So I really do not even know. So I think it's just an issue of reorientation and changing the norms and perspective of young Nigerians. And without that, we can never get it right. Without that reorientation of our mindsets, because now people see politicking as business. People don't see politicking like you need to, even if you're a politician, you need to also have your own, someone talked about you need to tell us that you're not going to earn salary. I haven't seen that happening. So if people would come in to look at it like politics is a side gig, it's not my main job.
That's right.
That means you're going to disabuse a lot of people's mindset and thoughts that being an essay, being an PA, they permit me to use the word in Igbo, whistleblower, not in corruption, whistleblower of a particular politician. You get what I mean? To be able to get money. So now they are competing who blows whose whistle higher than each other to be able to get more money. So we have a lot of challenges, honestly. We're looking at candidates, we're looking at the Nigerian youth, we're looking at our perspective, we're looking at the mindset. What are the norms on the table? How do we begin to address all of this together to see that new Nigeria we want to have emerge? It's really a very difficult scenario. But one in a time, we can actually get there. Thank you, and over.
Thank you so much. I also have a question to ask you, but I think it's better we move this question to, because we intend to have a very important topic next week, that is women and youth in politics. I would have loved to give you a follow-up question regarding the topic, but I want to use the opportunity to also to invite every one of us to join next week to discuss women in politics and youth. So to move to the next question, before then I have to ask Mr. Nnamdi. He said he has a question for Mr. Achonu. Nnamdi can go ahead.
Good evening, all. Mr. Achonu, I have a question for you on restructuring. Can you hear me? All right. Everybody talks about restructuring, both APC, PDP, and most Nigerians. But I have a fear and a question. Why is this current template not working? Why is it that some governors with their immunity stop local government for functioning? Some state is up to 16 years, 20 years, no local government election, no councillor. The House of Assembly and rubber stamp, they take instruction directly from the governor. I believe most of our problem is not even in Abuja. Most of our problem are the governors. They don't want to take responsibility. They don't want to tell people the truth. Everybody put a hope on everything is the head, that Abuja is where the problem is. But I know many states, you go to towns, communities, it's nothing to write home about. And nobody is questioning the governors. Why? So I'm thinking that due to the leadership and our mentality, even if we restructure, we still have that same problem. Until people start holding our leaders, the closest, the councillor, the local government chairman, our governors, responsible for their deeds, I don't think the restructuring will work, even if we restructure Nigeria.
Mr. Nnamdi, do you have something to say regarding what?
Mr. Nnamdi, the problem we have in Nigeria It's not the governance. It's we that they are governing. That's the problem. That is one. Two, why they are doing that? Because they know the key point of ruling people. They say ignorance is, somebody that is ignorant is a fool. And the only way they are going to handle us is to spoil the education level of Nigeria. Can you tell me now that those local governments you are calling, or those governors, even in the federal system, before there's something like a competition in the states, if you watch it very well, since the independence of Nigeria, Nigeria is not growing, rather depreciating. One, the elites and the people that colonize us gave them the weak points to rule and rule forever. And that weak point is what? Less education. Assuming now I am in Germany, they want to verify something about me in my primary school. I don't have the primary school again. The primary school is in Aba, but now it's no more primary schools. Now it's a marketplace. They deprive you of not going to school. They deprive you of that knowledge that makes people to be touts that they are using. If the restructuring comes and there's a basic education for the generation that is living, everybody will know something. What is his right and what is fundamental human right. Then whoever that is being elected can also be impeached and pushed out. For example, he cannot use me twice. It's only for a fool you can use twice. If we do that, restructuring is the only way, and good things doesn't come so easy. Let me tell you, my brother, there's no good thing that comes easy. There will be a total chaos from local government to the state level. The problem is not from Abuja. The whole problem is not from Abuja. Like what the moderator said, those videos that ran viral in the internet, what do you think that happened to that man? What do you think that will happen to the House of Assembly man that want to contest for House of Assembly? He cannot come out to contest anything again because the youth have already come out for him. Assuming when other local governments, other youths have that mind to stand before whoever and tell him what is his problem. Man, how many are there? How many percentage? It is only few percentage of Nigerians are ruling Nigeria. Why they knew that when they allow us to be enlightened and have something in our brain, they cannot do it. Education is free in Europe. Where me and you come from, the level I went to, my father paid for it. But in Western Europe, from nursery school to wherever you are going, the government sponsors you because we have access to them. My brother, if me and you can stand and tell a governor and stop a governor on the road, and Buhari went to Imo State, you saw how the state was like a ghost town. When I was in that state and the president is coming, we will wash our school uniform, we will hold the flag and start flying flag for the president on the street. It is corruption. My cousin in London now, he left his job as a banker and went home to contest for councillorship and won. But Rogers seized everything. Assuming the youth and the local government comes out and says, no, it's no. It cannot kill how many people. When you keep first, second, third person, we are all human beings. You have conscience. These people I'm killing, who am I going to rule? So my brother, restructuring is the key point that we are going to stay. It's going to be hard for us to stand, but we have to start it from somewhere. Somebody have to sacrifice. We have to sacrifice for tomorrow, for our children. If you cannot sacrifice it now, the country will go into whatever you want to go.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Achonu. Just to remind us that Honor Kenneth Gbandi just left. He has other appointments. We've been here for 1 hour, 30 minutes. I will give Eru and Tony last 2 questions and then we'll summarize. So first, I'll go to Mr. Eru. I'm asking you this question because you are from Niger Delta. And there is a speculation rising that Jonathan wants to join the ruling party, which one of his spokesman, Reno Mokari, absolutely denied. How true is this speculation? And what will happen to Jonathan's legacy if he doesn't emerge as the APC presidential candidate? We all know that Jonathan and President Buhari have good relationship now. Buhari always praises Jonathan, and so I think the APC is enticing Jonathan right now. What do you think will happen to Jonathan's legacy if he declares his interest to run for president under APC, and then APC decide not to give him the candidacy ticket and switch to any other person? What will happen to his legacy in Nigeria?
Okay. First, like I said when I'm in my first answer, I said everything started in 2007, not 2015. How did Yar'Adua emerge at the Eagle Square? Jonathan was planning to go back to the university to lecture at Uniport. He was not part of the system. It was the governors from the Niger Delta that picked him as a bargaining chip to stop militancy in the Niger Delta. And they supplanted, the VP should have gone to the east. So you see where the domino cards start to fall from. The east was shortchanged in 2007 for the source of the BP. He went to the south-south, instead of the southeast. So he was not part of the system. From ab initio, he was never part of the system. He was just picked, and just by the providence, he got the seat of the presidency. So on that basis, I would say we didn't send Jonathan, or the South-South never asked for the issue for the post of the VP. It was the political class that bargained and got that, and they benefited from Jonathan. That's why people are complaining, we in Delta, we didn't gain for Jonathan. We never asked for it. It was the political class that asked for the VP, and they got it, and they benefited. So the issue of Jonathan coming, I would say his legacy can go two ways. One, if Jonathan gets that ticket, he will surely win. He will split PDP into two, and the APC will back him, based on the promise that power will go back to the north. And if power go back to the north, because he will contest for only one term, that might be the end of Nigeria. And the other way, if Jonathan take that seat and he refused to listen to the north, in quotes, because when we say the north, the political class, it's not the people, the politicians that are deciding. He might go against the plan and stick to his original plan. Anoint Peter Obi to take over from him. Because I remember I think that was his second to last campaign before in 2015. He said he will not hand over to any politician that's older than him. He said that in public. He said he will never hand over. So whoever imposed Jonathan on Nigeria should remember that statement. He has nothing to lose. He has basically nothing to lose because he's not contesting again. So
what if he joins APC, yep, and then they refuse him the ticket? What do you think? How do you think it will affect his legacy?
Nobody will stop him. Like I said
So
earlier, remember.
You believe somebody like Osibanjo, who is being rumored to be interested in joining the race, and of course Tinubu, who have already declared his interest, believe Osibanjo and Tinubu cannot stop Jonathan?
You can't. Remember I said earlier, in politics, there are three categories of players in the game. One, you have your political technocrats. In APC, the technocrats are who? Fayemi, Fashola. They were the one that designed that 100 promises that we were talking about, restructuring. They were the two of them did it. And if, let me not use that word, and if the political orcs in APC actually followed that plan, APC would have worked. The technocrats did the plan, they ran the campaign. That's why it was so efficient and they defeated PDP. But when they finished the election, the operators took over. Who is the only operator on the scene? It's Tinubu. He can survive under any circumstance. He's the only operator you have in Nigeria currently. That's why everybody, just like Donald Trump, he's the only operator we have in Nigeria. But what, and the others are all politicians. Osinbajo is not even in any of those three classes. Jonathan is not in any of those classes. So you get the point that I said earlier. If they back Jonathan, it's game over. No, Tinubu can't stop him.
All right. I would have loved to ask a follow-up question, but because of time, I will switch my question to Dr. Ezeribe before I give everybody a chance to speak. Dr. Ezeribe, my question to you is, so far, the number of people that have declared their interest to contest for the 2023 election, one of the popular names is Tinubu. Is he the right person to pilot the affairs of this country with regards to his achievement in Lagos and the Yoruba land?
Thanks very much, Ogobi, for that question. I think it ties to all I've been saying. I think Tinubu, he was governor of Lagos from 1999 until 2007, right? And he retired from Mobile as the treasurer before he became governor. Okay, so this is somebody that has retired. Okay, he has been governor for 8 years. Come on, he should go and rest. Nigeria is not, Nigerian leadership should not be a package for retirement. Not minding the court cases that has to do with corruption and things like that. There was a bullion van, somebody that retired from Mobile, okay, as an auditor, or if you like, a treasurer. A bullion van, bank bullion van, was seen in his residence in the eve of an election. He could not explain what that was for, where the money came from, the source of the bullion van. It's still a mystery up till now, and they are running for president. Come on, Nigeria shouldn't be a playground. If Tinubu wants to be Nigerian president, which I think he shouldn't be, I think he should rest. I think Nigerians should take care of him. He has fought a good fight as a governor of Lagos State. He has fought a good fight in APC. I think he should be an elder statesman. I think he should support a young, charismatic, and younger Nigerians that are motivated to move Nigeria to the next level. He should support them. He should not be leading that campaign from the front line. He should actually be a resourceful person who young people come to for advice. So I think Tinubu should not be in the picture if I am to decide for Nigerians. But again, it falls back to the hands of Nigerians. Nigerians should critically look at the candidates. From my own point of view, I think it is not Tinubu that we need at this time. I think we need a vibrant young person who is fed up with the way Nigeria is going, who understands what needs to be done to get 24 hours electricity in Nigeria, let's say in Kano, Port Harcourt, Lagos, Enugu, in the next 4 years. By the time that administration is clocking 4 years, these 4 cities at least should be celebrating 1 year of uninterrupted power supply. That's the kind of leadership we need. And there has to be a blueprint, a clear plan of how to achieve this, that hinges on source of finance, construction plans, okay? Plans on how to deliver the generated electricity. So these things has to be very clear. When you come to transportation, there has to be a similar thing. It has to be clear on how that should be achieved. When you come to employment, because these are the key issues. If we industrialize Nigeria and give Nigerian youth jobs, insecurity will fall down, okay, because people will be so busy. If there is 24 hours electricity, somebody in Ghana, Adamawa State, can have a factory, okay, where he produces nails, for instance, Okay, he can produce nails in Ghana in his home village because there is light, and he can buy a small machine that costs 200,000 or so and put it in his parlor. Okay, he'll be rolling out nails all night, and he can make 40 cartons, 200 cartons, depending on how long he has worked, then come out of that house, and he should be able to put that nail or tomato or whatever commodity he has in a truck or a train and then ship it to Lagos. Okay, that's what we need. People don't need to move from their villages to Lagos and overpopulate our urban cities. So we need to solve this critical problem. The critical problems are electricity. As soon as that happens, people work in their homes, the insecurity will fall down, everybody will be busy. Okay, students will be writing codes, launching apps online, making a lot of money. But we need to give them that electricity. Okay, we need to give them electricity, give them internet. Okay, these are critical. If we don't do this now, is a game over for Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rabbi. Now, due to time, we've almost spent 2 hours. I will give each and every one of us 2 minutes for a closing speech. I will start with Ms. Ndubuisi. 2 minutes closing speech.
Thank you so much. I wouldn't want to call you the facilitator, but maybe a moderator, probably even the chair for the session. It's been an intriguing session. We're learning from other people, sharing our thoughts as much as a lot of people have fallen out on issues around elections. And I like the maturity of the speakers, and also people's submission, which is diverse and different, but also making sense in diverse areas. But let's also be able to remind ourselves that the Nigeria we're talking about is us.
That's right.
So let's not talk about Nigeria like it's a far place. It's us. Our generation, our children, the number of children you have makes up another community. In Igbo, they say 4 children, 4 generations, right?
Right.
So that means you're building also like a generational link that are also Nigerian. So let's also think of how we can take steps to change this country, not just to talk down on the country, not just to, but use our mouth to also position Nigeria and also be that change we want to crave. Let's ask ourselves, what have we done for Nigeria in the last 3 or 4 years, even as an individual, not to your family. What you do for your family is your responsibility, please. Don't count it like you're doing it for Nigeria. What have you done for your community? What have you done for your state? So this will be my last question to everyone. And thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed my session and the time being with you. Thank you, and over.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ndubuisi. Over to you, Mr. Eru, for 2 minutes closing speech.
As for my closing speech, I'll say basically, the issue of Nigeria is not restructuring or politics or power sharing, whatever. That's not our problem. Our problem is how do we survive each day? Because you have to survive 24 hours in Nigeria, basically. And that falls back to the issue of education. It's not the Ministry of Education that will handle the issue of education in Nigeria. It's the National Orientation Agency. But people don't understand. Information. It's not like Mohammed, Minister of Information or Minister of Education. That agency is the most powerful in Nigeria, but we still don't know it's propaganda. It should be without bias. Nigeria for Nigerians, not Nigeria for APC or Nigeria for PDP or whatever. It's that agency that can bring everybody back on the same plate and handle this issue of election. Because if INEC and the NOA can work together, most of these issues we're talking about will not even exist. Nobody's talking about restructuring because you already know your rights. It's not the lawyers that will tell you your rights. When you hear, when there are programs on the radio, on your television, every day you are hearing it, seeing posters everywhere. You don't need somebody to tell you that the policeman cannot stop you and search your phone. You already, even the policeman will even know that you know your rights. There will be no checkpoint in Nigeria. So the issue is information, and it should start from the bottom. Because like my mother was a teacher, my grandmother was also a teacher. They'll say basic education in Nigeria is not sufficient. But they say it's basic, but it's not even sufficient itself. So how can you grow a man from that morass? So basically, I would say let's go back to the basics and start afresh. Yes, whether we restructure or not, it won't solve anything in Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Mr. Eru. And Dr. Ezeribe, your 2 minutes closing speech.
Thanks very much, Obi. I will make it very quick. I will plead with Nigerians to come out, go get their voters card. Get ready for 2023. This is an election that we have to get right. Please go get your voters card and vote the right candidate. Don't worry about rigging, because the person that's going to rig the election is a Nigerian. When things go wrong, he's going to suffer it. So stop worrying about rigging, whether your vote is going to count or not. The most important thing is that you get your voters card, you vote the right candidate, and then stay to monitor the vote counting. As soon as that happens and is transmitted, we believe Nigerians are fed up and everyone will do the right thing. And the result will be a true reflection of what the people want. And as soon as we get the right person at the presidency, the governance coordination will change. And as soon as that changes, Nigeria will start start moving at the right direction, which will make all of us happy and make Nigeria the true giant of Africa. We are a black man. We have a home, because at the moment, when you see people from Africa in all over the place, we don't have any home at all. So we need to really build one, and I believe that home should be Nigeria. As soon as Nigeria start working, the ripple effect will trigger development, serious development in other nations. Not minding that Ghana and Rwanda are making progressive progress in terms of governance, in terms of development, and in terms of industrialization. So guys, go get your voters card and vote the right candidate. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ezeribe. And finally, my friend, my colleague, Mr. Nnamdi Achonu, you have your 2 minutes closing speech.
Thank you, Mr. Obi. I should have said to you Nigerians that we have no other place than to call Nigeria. We are the eyes and the head of Africa. When Nigeria falls, Africa falls. I don't compare Nigeria with Ghana, neither I compare them with all this one, because they are just like a state in Nigeria. Like my brother said, I told people, please get your voters card. Don't vote party, vote the individual. And let us think about federalism. That is, go to the grassroots politics. Play it very well. Select who we trust, who we know, who can speak for us, who can fight for us. In Cameroon, they killed one of the activists that speaks for them in the house, because he's a grassroots. They knew him from the village, where he come from, what he can do. And he went there to fight for his people. So make sure who you are voting, you know him, and don't vote party, please. Vote the individual. Get your PVC is your right, and vote. So that is my final conclusion, Mr. Obinwanne, my full colleague.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank
I have more words to add, please.
Okay.
To the guest here, like Obinwanne introduced me, I'm Mr. Nnamdi Achonu. I'm a transporter in Germany. And this forum, we have been talking about it, and we wanted it to go more far. So we need you, both people, everybody here support. We are discussing positive things, not only for us. We are not here to criticize any person, but we are here to exchange ideas. Maybe in near future, we are going to invite more people in politics. Like how Ms. Ndubuisi from United Nations is here with us, and Bandy with us, and Dr. Tony, all of you people. Please, time will come when we are going to invite even a governor to speak with us. So I'm highly, very, very grateful for you people leaving whatever you are doing to honor our invitation. Thank you very much, my people.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Nnamdi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
I want to use the opportunity to thank everyone for joining. It shows how passionate we are in moving our country forward. This little contribution, sacrificing your time to be part of this discussion, will go a long way to prove that each and every one of us have the urge to move our nation forward. Thank you guys once again. And just to remind you all, before Ms. Ndubuisi started speaking about women in politics, I already discussed with my colleague, Mr. Achonu, that next weekend we'll be having a very vital discussion regarding women and youth in politics. We wanted to do it women in politics, but we think it will be interesting to combine women and youth in politics, which I'm going to discuss with my colleague.
Please don't combine women and youth. You would lose the, do not combine women. You will lose the impact of the discourse. So the discourse is you bring the women issue, you look at it from the Electoral Act perspective, you bring it down to the Constitution, and then of course to the community, vis-a-vis any analytics you want to draw from it.
Thank you so much for that.
Let me also say that my uncle Nnamdi Achonu made this possible. We really do not participate in events that may mar us or may give out our intention. So I want to thank him for that opportunity. And particularly, I'm very, very grateful for everything today. He's been part of me. He's been very encouraging, and my uncle and my very good friend, actually. So thank you so much for having me, and trust that I would help support this platform, especially in churning out things that will impact fellow Nigerians and things that will speak for itself. Thank you, and do have a restful weekend, guys.
Thank you so much. Yeah, just to conclude with what I was saying, I want to thank you for that suggestion. I think it will be nice to discuss separately about women in politics, because that topic actually brought in a very, very heated argument, which I love.
Oh, you want to leave it for the week of March? March is a month dedicated to women in Nigeria. March 8th is International Women's Day.
Okay.
March 8th is International Women's Day. The whole of March has been dedicated to Women's Month in Nigeria.
Okay.
So we discuss it the weekend before the Monday of that 8th.
So you can discuss the weekend after the March 8th. Because that March 8th, I know we're having an event we have 11 female ambassadors in Nigeria. And there's a huge event happening that week in Lagos, hosted by the US ambassador for all women. My office is under my portfolio, we're organizing that. We're going to be in Lagos on March 8th, and we're coming back March 9th. So the whole of March has been dedicated to Women's Month in Nigeria. So you can fix it that weekend of March 8th. After March 8th, the weekend, I don't know what the date is. So
we would like to have one of the ambassadors from the women in the campaign.
It might be very difficult. First of all, it might be very difficult, but it all depends on the number of crowd you would have. If you start sharing your, and it might depend on who is also anchoring that, it might be easy if you want to speak to the ambassador of Germany, if you're originating from Germany, and then bringing on the Bandy that just left, but you still have a bit of time to plan it. And also trying to share the link, if you have a link, to also avoid people who hack internet to get on. So you might want to use another, not maybe Zoom, maybe a WebEx, where people can register with some, people can register, but the registration will be open that same day for the meeting. So you might look around ICT guys that can advise you. So if you have a lot of people might come in to join. So that's it. You might also target someone from the Minister of Women Affairs to know how prepared the Ministry of Women Affairs is going on, That way you're galvanizing a change discourse.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So the 8th of March is on Tuesday, and the weekend is Saturday is on the 12th. So I will discuss with Mr. Achonu, who will work towards that. So until then, we'll contact each and every one of you privately regarding our next topic, which will be on Saturday. And yeah, thank you so much once again for joining us. And I'm very pleased to hear each and every one of you contribute to the growth of this platform. And yeah, until then, have a good night, have a good evening, and a very nice weekend.
Thanks very much. Bye.
Thank you.